Hey folks, welcome to Cooking with Stephen and Jacqueline. Today we're going to make a delicious sweet from our Indian heritage called Kurma, and it is super easy to make, so let's sit back and enjoy the ride.
So folks, let's go make our kurma, and here's our ingredients.
You will need all-purpose flour, ELYCCHEE, cinnamon powder, nutmeg powder, ginger, unsalted butter, condensed milk, evaporated milk, oil, water, and white sugar.
Well folks, let's get our dry ingredients together. We're going to add 3/4 teaspoon of cardamom powder to 2 cups of all-purpose flour, or 240 grams. Here I have a combination of a 1/2 teaspoon of cinnamon powder and a 1/4 teaspoon of nutmeg, and that is going into the pool. Here I have 2 tablespoons of freshly grated ginger. I'm going to add 1 tablespoon to the dry ingredients and reserve the other tablespoon for the glaze. Next in the pool, we are going in with a 1/4 cup or 56 grams of cold unsalted butter, and you want to cut the butter up into small cubes like these. Cutting up the cold butter into small cubes makes it easier to incorporate into the dry ingredients. The key here is to make sure that your butter is very cold, and you will see the reason why. So folks, now it's time to use the best tool God has given me, your hands. You want to use your fingertips and get that buttery goodness all incorporated into that dry mixture. You will know when the butter is fully incorporated. The flour is going to become crumbly, almost something like if you were making a pastry dough. Now that the butter is fully incorporated, it's time to add the wet ingredients. Here I am going in with 2 tablespoons of condensed milk. If you don't have condensed milk, you can use 3 tablespoons of white sugar. Next in the pool, we are going in with 2.5 ounces or 71 grams of evaporated milk. You want to be as precise as possible with your measurements. Now it's time to get your hands back in there and get all of those wet ingredients incorporated into that dry mixture. In the beginning, it's going to seem like it is not going to come together, but trust me on this one. Just continue incorporating the wet ingredients and it will all come together nicely. After a few minutes of mixing, here you can see your mixture has turned into a nice dough, almost something like a pastry dough. Shake off the excess dough on your hands and incorporate it into the rest of the dough. Now that the dough has been formed into a nice ball, you want to place it on the countertop, and you want to knead this for about 3 to 5 minutes. You want to fold the dough in one direction. After doing this, you want to fold it in the opposite direction. Now I don't know if this step is quite necessary, but it works out fine for me, and my kurma comes out perfect every time. After doing this for a few minutes, you want to shape your dough into a nice ball, then place it into a bowl, then into the fridge for at least 1 hour. And in a miracle of time, 1 hour has gone by. We want to place the dough on the counter and get ready to roll this out. You want to roll the dough out between 1/8 to 1/4 inch in thickness. The reason for chilling the dough is because this dough is almost like a pastry dough, and it will help make it easier to work with. You may need to flip the dough a few times when rolling it out. Now that I've gotten the dough to that thickness, I'm going to take my dough cutter and square it up. All you want to do is cut out the uneven edges of the dough until you get a rectangular shape of sorts, and this is pretty easy enough to do. When you have finished squaring up the dough, take the remaining scraps and form it back into a dough ball and repeat that same process. Now that I have finished squaring up the dough, you want to take the rolling pin and give it a gentle roll to make sure you get that even thickness throughout. Now that our dough is all squared up, we're going to take our dough cutter and cut some 1/2 inch strips lengthways. If you don't have a dough cutter, a knife or one of those pizza cutters will do the trick. And while we're finishing cutting up the dough, please
don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, and if you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button and click the post notifications for more.
Now that we have finished cutting the dough into the long strips, we are now going to cut it into some shorter strips about 3 to 4 inches in length. Well folks, we have finished cutting up the first batch of kurma. We're going to transfer this onto a plate and repeat the same step for the next ball of dough. So we're gonna finish getting this plated up, finish rolling out and cutting up the other dough, and when you see me next, we'll be by the stove. Well, here we are at the stove. I'm using my 11-inch cast iron skillet, and we're looking to get our temperature of our oil to 300 degrees Fahrenheit. The reason we are frying at 300 degrees and not 350 is that we want the dough to cook through. The reason for frying at a low temperature is because we don't want to bite into a raw kurma that is cooked on the outside and raw on the inside. After you have added the kurma to the hot oil, you want to continuously keep moving them around, also flipping them on the other side until they get golden brown. This will take about 3 to 5 minutes. Okay folks, now that the kurma is nice and golden brown, it's time to take them out of the oil and put them into a bowl with a paper towel where the oil can drain off. As they cool, they will begin to get nice and crunchy. This is the final batch of kurma that I'm frying up. I'm going to finish fry this up off camera and I'll bring you guys back for the next step. And here's our kurma all fried up, so now we'll be moving on to the next step. Well folks, it's time to make our sugar solution. I'm going in with 3/4 cups of white sugar. The sugar solution we are going to make in Trinidad and Tobago, we call this pag. Now I'm going in with 1/4 cup of plain old water. Next we are going in with the remaining of our freshly grated ginger, about 1 tablespoon worth. Now all you want to do is continuously stir this until the sugar is dissolved. Now that the sugar is dissolved, you want to continuously stirring this when it comes to a boil. And remember guys, please don't leave this and walk away. This is almost like making a roux. You want to continue stirring this until it starts to thicken, and this will take about 8 to 10 minutes, and you will know when it starts to come together because on the side of the pot it's going to start to crystallize and also form some thread-like drops. After 8 to 10 minutes, this is what it's going to look like. Now it's time to go and pour all of this over the kurma. Well folks, here we are back at our kitchen counter. Now we're going to pour in half of our sugar solution, or pag as it is called in Trinidad and Tobago. We're going to start giving this a good old mix and it's going to get sticky really fast. Now that most of the kurma is coated with that solution, we're going to pour in the remaining of it and we're going to continue mixing this until the sugar starts to crystallize, and this will only take a couple minutes or so. And while this is coming together folks, remember to check the show notes below for the full recipe. As you can see, the sugar is starting to crystallize. You want to continue mixing this until the kurma stops sticking together. As you can see, the sugar has totally crystallized and the kurma is not sticking together. This is what you are looking for, so I do hope you give this one a try. So we're going to get this into a serving bowl, fasten our seatbelts and get ready for a drive-by. Let's go!
Well boys and girls, here's our delicious kurma and it was so tasty. I hope you all enjoyed the video. Like, comment and don't forget to subscribe and turn on the post notifications for more videos. See you all on our next cooking journey, and we're out until next time.